my loves, welcome back. Today I'm going to tell you about the 3D process of feminine healing. These are the 3 sacred phases that every woman on the path of feminine healing goes through. You might not have the same words for what you have been through or what you're going through currently, but your soul knows that the essence of this journey is the same as defined by these 3 words. And remember, the feminine doesn't heal in a straight line. She is non-linear. She heals in cycles, deep, dark, and divine. So you don't really go through these phases step by step. They could be one at a time, or step by step, or overlapping. So what are these 3 Ds of feminine healing? These are actually the 3 initiations that every woman must walk through. And the 3 Ds stand for death, descent, and dawn. These are not poetic metaphors, but these are the real inner experiences that reshape your entire feminine healing journey. So let's begin. So the phase 1 is death, the sacred ending. Every feminine healing journey begins with a death, not a physical one, but the death of an identity, a pattern, a chapter, a relationship, a dream. Any and every version of you that your soul knows you've outgrown. It is that moment when life whispers, you cannot continue the way you have been going. For some women, this death is dramatic. For example, it comes like a growing dissatisfaction. It could be this voice that very dramatically keeps telling you that something is not right. Something inside you starts crumbling even before you understand why. Basically, this death removes the old skin. It exposes all those identities that were built just for survival. The versions of you that were created to be liked, to be accepted, to be strong, or to be convenient. This is the revelation of your truth, the woman that you had to become, who betrayed her body, her intuition, her cycles, just to fit into the world. Let me give you an example. Once I worked with a woman who said these words, I feel like I'm dying, but everything is okay with me. Nothing is happening externally or in general. I mean, I'm fine as such, but I literally feel like I'm dying. What she didn't understand at that point was that her inner world was collapsing. The people pleaser in her, the overachiever, the girl who was always the strong one. These identities that she was carrying, they were dying. And they were dying only for one reason. So her soul could finally breathe. This death phase feels lonely because no one else can see actually what is dying inside of you. But you feel it with your whole being. And this is not a punishment. This phase, this death phase, is not a punishment. Because the truth is, healing your feminine requires sacred destruction. You cannot rise as the woman you're meant to be while clinging to the woman the world told you to be. So this death phase is your sacred initiation. It's the universe saying, daughter, it's time. And this leads to the next phase, the next D, which is descent, the underworld of the feminine. After the death comes the descent. This is the phase so many women fear, avoid, and misunderstand. The descent is where you turn fully inward, into your body, into your womb space, into the shadows you have ignored. And this is the phase most women resist, because the descent in your own underworld is really messy. It's emotional, it's confronting. This is where you meet the parts that were abandoned, like your unmet emotions, your mother, father, sister, brother wounds, your suppressed feminine, the little girl who never felt safe, the woman who swallowed her truth. You face your shadows, the anger you never expressed, the grief you never allowed yourself to feel, the intuition you silenced, the shame you carried that was never yours, all the stored trauma in your body. And you face, by doing all of this, your forgotten truth. In this phase, your mind cannot save you. You cannot think your way out of it. The descent, this phase, is the moment when your soul pulls you back into the body and says, no more running, woman. Come home, feel. Let me give you an example. A client once told me that I thought the healing was supposed to be staying positive all the time. Instead, I'm crying on my bathroom floor almost every day. And I just told her, this is the descent phase of your healing. Don't run, stay with it. Because on the feminine path, the healing happens in the body. It's where the embodiment begins. You start feeling sensations you avoided for years. You start noticing your body when it tightens. You start noticing where your breath is shallow, where your heart has been protecting itself, where your womb carries the old stories. The descent is your underworld, and it is where your truth lives. Descent is the womb of the journey. Dark, moist, slow, silent and restorative, the place where the old self dissolves and the new self begins forming silently, quietly. It is where you finally understand why you lived the way you lived, why you loved the way you did, why you tolerated what you tolerated. Here, your intuition returns. The inner voice becomes louder than the outside world. Your boundaries sharpen. Your truth becomes undeniable. Dissent is not punishment. It is initiation. It is where your feminine power is reborn from the deepest place within you. And then, without warning, something shifts. You start to experience softness, clarity, a new strength. And that's when you enter the third phase, the third D, which is dawn, the divine rising. So this is the third D. As I said, it is dawn, the divine rising. This rising is not loud. It's not a motivational speech. It's not a sudden explosion of confidence. This is the phase that arrives after you've faced your darkness for real, after you have sat with your emotions, after you've stopped running from yourself. Dawn is subtle. It's gentle like the first light after a long night. It feels like one special morning you wake up and something inside feels different. You're not fully healed, but you are no longer drowning. You experience it as a soft shift in your energy, a new clarity, a new sense of peace that you never had before. This is the phase where you start choosing yourself. You begin honoring your needs. You stop betraying your intuition. You set boundaries without guilt. You feel grounded in your truth. You attract relationships around you that honor you. You regain your softness. You reclaim your power. This is the divine rising. Not loud, not aggressive, not performative, but quiet, magnetic, embodied. You feel the shift in your body first. A sense of safety, openness, and clarity. Then you feel it in your energy, a deeper connection to the soul. And then it shows up in your life. New opportunities, new beginnings, new connections. After the darkness, after the descent, comes a woman who is wiser, softer, sharper, stronger and more aligned than ever. Dawn is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning of a new cycle, one where you live from truth and not trauma. So these were the 3Ds of the feminine healing path. Death, the ending; descent, the inner journey; and dawn, the divine rise. Every woman must walk through them in her own rhythm, in her own timing. If you're in death phase right now, breathe and trust. If you're in descent, don't be afraid and don't abandon yourself. If you're in dawn, honor your new light. And remember, this journey is not breaking you down. It's breaking you open. And yes, you're not alone. Every woman walks through these phases. Every woman rises through these. And every time you think your journey is over, you begin another cycle, deeper, truer, and more aligned. This is the feminine path. This is the path back to yourself. So I want you to tell me, which phase do you think you are in right now? Leave your answer in the comment, like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're ready to start your journey with me, please check the description box. And I'll see you in the next episode.